Hello, friends, and welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. We are learning C Sharp step by step. We have been learning loops in the last couple of lectures. We learned to code the while loop, do while loop, and the for loop. For loop we just covered in the previous lecture.
In this lecture, we will try to understand the execution of the nested for loops, just like I told you at the end of the previous lecture. Nested for loops are needed in several different scenarios, such as sorting, finding, searching, and traversing the multi-dimensional arrays and collections. So let's move on and try to understand the execution of the nested for loops. In a program, we are going to create a for loop inside another for loop. Both the loops will go 10 repetition. So let's create the program. This is our first for loop and it will go 10 repetitions. The loop variable is I. I will start from 1 to up to the 10, and here I will change the condition less than and equals 10. Now we know this loop simply generate 10 repetitions. We can put a comment here. Let's say outer loop. This one is our outer loop. Now inside the outer loop, we are going to create another for loop like this, and it will also generate 10 repetitions. And then we put our comment here. This is the inner loop. So this kind of code structure where we have a loop inside another loop is actually called nested loops. Now we have nested structure, outer loop and inner loop. The question is, how does this structure work? The answer is interesting, and in order to get the answer, we need to manually compile this code structure step by step. So let's do a manual compilation and learn the execution of this structure. So what is happening here? Our program control will find a for loop here, and right after that, it will come inside the outer for loop and initialize the variable I with 1. And then our program control will evaluate the condition. The value in the I is 1. 1 is less than 10. The condition is true. That means we will come inside the outer loop. So the value of I in the first round is 1, and we are now inside the loop, inside the outer loop. As the control comes inside the outer loop, it finds another for loop. The control will do the same. It will create a variable j, initialize it with the value 1, and right after that, check the condition. 1 is less than 10, condition is true, and now our control will come inside the inner loop. So here is our control. Now, inside the inner loop, we don't have any other loop. That means our control will stay in this loop until the value evaluates to false. And when will this condition evaluates to false? This condition evaluates to false after 10 repetition. So this loop, the inner loop, will simply go 10 repetitions. After the 10 repetitions, when the value of the, say when the value of the j becomes 10, this loop gonna evaluates to false. So as the condition returns the false value, our control will simply leave this inner loop. But what about the outer loop? The outer loop is still true. That means our control will go up here again and increase the value of I with 1. So the value of I will become 2, and the condition is tested again. 2 is less than 10, the condition is true. That means our control will come inside the outer loop once again. And when it comes inside the outer loop, it will find a for loop once again. And as the control finds the for loop once again, it will simply come inside this inner for loop, create this variable, and will check the condition. Condition is true. The value of j is 1. 1 is less than 10. That means there will be a repetition. And once again, our control is stored in the inner for loop until the value of j becomes 10. And that also means another 10 repetitions. After the 10 repetitions, our control will leave the inner for loop and will go up again to the outer loop. The value of I gets incremented once again and will become 3. The program will check the condition. 3 is less than 10. The condition is true. It will come inside the outer loop and then again run this loop up to the 10 repetitions. And this cycle will continue until the outer loop has done with all of its repetition. It's interesting, right? With every repetition of the outer loop, the inner loop will go 10 repetitions. So if I ask a question to you, can you count the total number of repetitions? Can you count it? Just pause the video and try to figure out the total number of repetitions. So, what was your answer? Did you figure it out? The total number of repetitions here should be 110. You want to know how? The outer loop creates 10 repetition. And with every repetition of the outer loop, the inner loop creates 10 repetitions.
So the 10 repetitions for the outer loop and 10 into 10, 100 repetitions for the inner loop. The total becomes 110. We can also program and code the output of this structure to get the confirmation in the console.
So let's code the output of this entire structure. To the outer loop, we will print the value of the I, and I will use console write instead of write line. We'll put the new line in the output later on, and here we put a string. Here we write outer repetition and simply print the variable, loop variable I, and then simply put a space after the I. Now inside the inner loop, we are going to simply print the loop variable j. Like this, might be a space after every j value. And now after the inner loop, we will remain inside the outer loop, and here we will print a new line, right? So once the entire code is executed and before the new repetition of the outer loop, we are going to insert a new line in the output. So let's run the program and check the output of this interesting code. And here you see a very interesting result, right? Outer repetition goes from 1 to 10. You see outer repetition 1, 2, 3 to 10. And for each repetition of the outer loop, here is the inner loop's repetition from 1 to 10. To the second repetition of the outer loop, the inner loop goes once again 10 repetition from 1 to 10. And the 10th repetition of the outer loop, the inner loop goes once again from 1 to 10, right? So using the cancel and the loop variables, we are now sure about the execution of this interesting nested structure. So my listeners, that was nested loops in programming, and now we know how the execution of the nested loops works. At this point, we have simply covered the first three loops, while, do while, and for. The for each loop we will cover later on, together with the collections. In the next lecture, we will study continue and break statements. Both are designed especially for the loops. So I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching. Take care of you.